right, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to our info session on Scale with Confidence, which is a workshop series brought to you by Youth Business Trying to be and our amazing partners at Exim Bank. My name is Shadron Collins. I'm the CEO of Youth Business Trying to be and I'll be I want to say host, um, the
MC.
main talker. I'll be the main talker of the session today. I even want to say panel, it's persons on the couch today that's to kind of relax. And the main goal today is really to kind of give you a bit of information. You can get it on the website as well, but a bit of information about our upcoming series and workshop. So we'll call this, while it's an info session, we'll call it Meet the Facilitators, right? So first up, let's start with the last workshop, which is Through This Away, right? So we'll start with Rachel Rennie. Rachel, tell us a little bit about this. And good evening.
Hi, everyone. A little bit about myself and a little bit about the workshop, yeah, in a nutshell.
Well, a little bit about yourself first. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, about myself, I'm Rachel Rani Gonzalez, now co-founder and CEO of D Market Movers Limited, group of companies. I know I get to say group of companies now, because we now have 3 to 4 different businesses are all around food, local agriculture. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years now, and it's a lot of experience around growing and starting a business from youth business days, pitching to youth business to now, managing 4 different companies around food and agriculture in Trinidad and Tobago. I am passionate about local food, local agriculture, but more importantly, I have a wealth of experience around selling your your passion, monetizing your passion, which I think is a really great formula as an entrepreneur coming through. It's really how do you bring that value to your passion, and my hope is that through this workshop that I can share with you some amazing tips on how I got into exporting, how I was able to grow a local frozen fruit brand from just a mom and pop, put it in a Ziploc bag to now, being listed on large stores and being exported regionally. So
Awesome. And I'm seeing the excitement of talking about the workshop. So go ahead. Tell us a little bit about what can people expect in Exporting 2.0.
So what does exporting 2.0 means? It means that you are literally now almost ready to export, to be quite honest. Exporting is a long-term relationship. So if you are not committed, it is really a long-term relationship, not just with a distributor, but with a country, a culture. Even just selling locally, I'm figuring out new things about Trinidadians every day around fruits and wellness and my industry. So imagine going into that new market where, you haven't lived there, you don't know the culture. Sure, Karen could attest to this. What you see on the magazines is not what is, when you get there. So what I'm hoping to share is just how prepared you really need to be and to manage your expectations. That being said, there's a lot of potential in export, a mass order all at once, which can help you really grow your business because now you have an exact a purchase order is a masterful thing in business when you have a purchase order, a large order. But to get there, what I want to share is all the mistakes that I've made, as well as all the things that I know worked for myself, right? So when I think of 2.0, it's really doing a self-assessment, seeing where your gaps are, seeing where the possibilities or potentials are for your product or your portfolio or service, and servicing that market to the best of your ability. And yeah, everything that I did and didn't do that I wish I did during exporting. We're about to export to Guyana. It was actually one of our dreams, but of course that market has completely changed, as many of you would know. So I'm just sharing really about why we make the decisions, the choices to enter a particular market. And if you have a business, you don't have to be in food, but the research and the preparation is the same no matter what you're selling. As long as you're passionate about it, I think it's a lot easier to sell.
All right,
So
just
that's what I'm
calm down.
hoping.
I wanted to give out the whole thing, and that's it. We talked about just that taste of the workshop.
But of course, there's technical tips that you can take away and apply right away, you know. So I'm looking forward to sharing that and hopefully, you know, bringing on new exporters within the next year or so.
Awesome. And so the Exporting 2.0 workshop is going to take place on August. So mark that in your calendar. If you haven't saved the details yet, if you haven't registered as yet, this is the opportunity to go to. So we're going to move from I'm also a wrestling fan. So we're going to move from singles competition to the tag team match. Right? And I want to bring in Aveline and Dale. So we'll start with Aveline. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And then Dale, you can tell us a little bit about yourself. And then we go straight into the workshop.
Okay, beautiful. Hi, everybody. My name is Aveline Connolly. And let's just shorten that and say Avi, right? And it's much easier for everybody to just say Avi. So I am currently a chief operating officer at a real estate valuation company right now in Trinidad and Tobago. But more importantly, my background is in human resources, and I've worked in human resources for over 25 years in the banking sector, in the food and beverage, in the manufacturing. All of that to say that I just love working in human resources. Let me tell you, I have my own brand of HR. I am very passionate about that brand, which is about people. It's just putting people before profit and seeing that as a strategy itself to grow your business. I do think, and I don't want to get into it now, but I really am excited about this workshop. I can't wait to share more information on it, but let me curb my enthusiasm and pass pass it on to Dale.
Target the team. Dale, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you. And look, I just have to start by saying that every time I hear Rachel's story and I hear Aveline's story, I just get more excited about entrepreneurs. And not to mention Chedron's enthusiasm just generally. So I'm delighted to be here and to hear that so many of you are making the choice to register for the sessions. Now, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Went into the corporate world, which is a long story, but I could tell you at some stage, not this afternoon. That was a strategic decision. And when it was time to retire, I refired out of corporate world and into executive coaching, which is what I do now. So I'm coming to you both as a leadership coach and as a chair of YBTT, because it's just been my delight over the last many years to lead this organization, to be able, through the work that YBTT does, to make our contribution to building a more sustainable future, not just for Trinidad and Tobago, but for the region. My vision. Yeah. So over the years, I have then had the experience of working in multiple industries across multiple territories in the region, and I've been working with leaders. I've been working with teams. I'm doing that now, and helping them to take their good ideas and turn it into great and lasting impact, and impact that sustains. So I'm thrilled to bring that experience to you, Chedron.
Right, so let's dive straight into what should people expect when they hear leadership and team building? What should they expect in that workshop, or what can they look forward to?
I'll start off by saying, one, Dale and I have been working together, delivering workshops on leadership and team building since I started very early on in my career in HR. And one of the things that we always find is that leadership and team building, two things. Leadership and team building it changes all the time. The different techniques, practices, tools, even the theories, sometimes around those things, it continue to evolve. And secondly, the other thing that we have noticed is for entrepreneurs, it's not always on the front burner, and understandably so. As an entrepreneur, you're more concerned about sales, about stock, about exporting, as in with retail. And it's understandable from a business perspective that will be on the forefront. But if we're looking to scale our business, if we're looking to grow our business, leadership and team building, so I'm going to give you an analogy here, right? Let's compare it to your skeleton. You don't see it, but it is the structure behind the business. It is, you don't understand the impact until something goes wrong in the background with a broken bone. Then you will see what's happening. So I want in this workshop to be very practical. I love being very, very practical in any workshop because I want you as a participant to walk away with tools that you could immediately, just as Rachel said, just immediately jump in and start to see, hopefully see the impact. But we'll be using that analogy. So pay attention to that analogy, a little bit of the skeleton and the body. And I think Dale is going to pick up from there. So I'm going to hand over to her tag team.
Well, here you are. You've got your big passion and you've got your big dreams and you're building something of your own, eh? And what you are building is powerful. Let's continue that analogy. So you got to have structure. What perhaps you might need to understand is that it's a living system, that business that you're building. It's a living system. It's not static. And it's breathing and it's growing and it's changing. Sometimes you're not even aware of what the changes are that are taking place. And like every other system, it needs that structure that Aveline was alluding to. So your leadership is going to give that system its shape and its form and its strength. Without your focused, strong, and authentic leadership, it's going to wobble. And with it, no butter, and with it, your business is going to stand tall. It's going to breathe. It's going to move forward with confidence. And so what you can expect from us, Aveline said practical, and I'm adding lively and interactive because this is not a sit down and listen kind of session with the two of us. So what you will leave with, however, a couple of simple but powerful frameworks that you can pull into that system. Couple of tools and tips that you can start using immediately and that in fact you may start using in the workshop itself. So come prepared to participate. Come prepared to leave, having gained insight, some inspiration. In your role then, not just as a founder, but as a leader. And that's it, Chadron. Back to you.
Yeah, don't talk about the skeleton right here again. We go talk about that. So,
Wait, are we allowed to
Right,
sign
so-
up for their workshops? Because
Don't
I'm a little sold on
I
the
want to sign up for yours too, you know.
the importance of
And-
leadership.
the leadership and team building workshop is going to be on the 2nd of July. So if you haven't registered, it's the opportunity to register again. Right. So moving on for the tag team champs, the dual heavyweight champion. I don't know, keep a wrestling thing going on. So Karen, tell us about yourself for those who don't know. I know everybody. Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean it's always tough when you have to follow up after the heavyweight ladies themselves. I will do my best. I don't have the witty analogies like the skeleton and the body, but a little about me. So, I'm a digital strategist who specializes in digital marketing and e-commerce. And I work with Caribbean business owners, both in the region and the diaspora, through one-on-one, through workshops, and I'm big on education. I do that in a couple of different ways. I lecture at two universities at Lockjack, and I'm a program advisor for digital marketing at the University of South Florida. I'm in media, so I have a column, TV, newspapers, and everything is on digital business education. And I think one of the biggest things that has always just really helped me see the gaps in the Caribbean is even though I was born in Trinidad, lived in Canada for the majority of my life for 28 years, and coming back to Trinidad and coming back to the Caribbean, I had a benchmark coming from Canada as to how things should be, and then I was able to kind of see those gaps and then try to see why things don't work in the Caribbean like they work in Canada, and then kind of reverse engineer my way to building that online business and then seeing what works and then seeing what, the rest of the world has kind of shut us out of. And that has just helped me see the gaps and then prepare other entrepreneurs to say, okay, as much as we're following, people online and they're telling us to do this and do that, that's great, but we can't do that. If we're going to do something like that, this is how we have to go about doing that. So because I came from Canada, I had to kind of reverse engineer and figure out all the ways to actually execute an online business. Fast forward to now where I've moved to Thailand. I've been here for 8 months now. It's the same thing again. Being an Asian now, seeing a whole new benchmark, seeing how people are doing things, and then looking back at the Caribbean because I still do all of my work in the region, seeing what they're doing in Asia and now being able to reverse engineer those things lends leads perfectly into what we're going to be doing in my workshop, digitizing our business 2.0. How do we build a business in the Caribbean utilizing all the tools that we have available to us today? What is actually available to us today? Because we watch all the announcements, what we don't realize is half of that stuff doesn't work for our region. And if it is to work, it's not going to work right out of the box. And there is going to be some things that we're going to have to put in place. There's going to be some workarounds. We're going to have to do what we can until better can be done. So for my workshop, it's really going to be about how do we build our business in 2025 and beyond. What does e-commerce look like? Are people still Googling? Where are people hanging out? How are they getting their information? We just seen Google I/O happen last night, and there's a crap load. I don't know how else to say it, but there's a ton of new advancements in technology, and everybody's watching it. Everybody's excited. And I'm excited as a consumer to use it and integrate these things in my day-to-day life. But my biggest worry was we are still struggling to get people in the region to get websites and dive into e-commerce, even sell online. How do we expect Caribbean businesses to start showing up in Google Glass, in Google Eyewear? How are we going to be showing up in all these AI tools? ChatGPT just announced a major partnership with Shopify that now you're going to be able to check out inside of ChatGPT, and yet all of that happens with the foundation of you having to have an e-commerce website. So there's a lot of things that in the tech space and the digital business space to be excited about right now, but there's a lot of foundational things that we also have to put in place to be even considered or to participate in some of these new technological advancements. So digitizing my business, we're preparing you for all of the changes in technology and in building your business online in 2025. And how do we, show up in search? How do we show up in AI? How do we get discovered in today's new era where everything is all about content and, it's going beyond just social media? So that's a little bit of a taste of my workshop. And I'm, as always, happy to be working with YBTT. And we have a great cast of educators. So I know it's going to be a powerful workshop.
Awesome. And well, Karen's workshop is just 2 weeks away. So that's June the 4th. Around the
Yeah.
time we're going to be online. Right. So folks, if you haven't registered, this is your time to register. For those who did register already, a reminder that the link would be sent closer to each workshop date. So I know you're registered already, and you've been waiting 2-3 days to be linked as yet, we're sending it closer to the register, to the actual workshop dates from there. I want to take this opportunity again to thank Exim Bank, who's kind of been supporting us for a couple of years now. And this is our second time doing the workshop series as part of their support to YBTT. So again, thank you for those at the Exim Bank team. And for those listening live or those who are going to listen to the recording of this, I just have one question to end it off. Are you ready to scale? And I think that's what we want to establish with you all. So with that, as with all things, and with all things that Chetron is hosting, it's been real, it's been nice, it's been real nice. I'll see you all next time, and hopefully see you on the 4th of June, the 2nd of July, and the 6th of August. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.